Okay, guys, we have started recording. In today's session, we are going to learn ChroPath in details, and while using ChroPath, we will learn another term, that is child and parent relationship in identifying object. Okay, so ChroPath, and we are going to use child and parent relationship in identifying object, and we will use ChroPath for that purpose. Does it sounds good? Okay, so if you take a look here, so far what we did, so we have this test case here, right? We have this test case here. Um, as you can see, that we have two test cases out of this. Like, can you tell me what kind of test suite it is? It is a test. Oh, not yet. Okay. As you can see, it is a test ng test suite, right? Let me know when you can see my screen. Okay, so as you can see here, can you see now?
Yeah, now I can
Okay, so what kind of test suite it is? Can you anyone tell me? Like the test suite we have, what kind of test suite it is? This is a test ng test suite. This is a test ng test suite, right? Where
Yeah,
we
this is test engine.
test ng. How many test cases we have here? Okay, two of the test cases. We have the first test case, we have test case 1. The second test case, we have test case 2. Test case 1 is disabled. Test case 2 is, like, if we execute, this test case will be executed. So in test ng, whatever starts with this at test annotation, these are your test cases. These are your test cases. And then before test, after test are annotation. Before test will be execute, right? Before your test case. Okay, after test will be execute after your test case. Does it make sense? Okay. Now, if I execute this particular test suite, test case 2 will be executed, and I'm going to do that now. First of all, to see what we are doing here, right? And then we will be adding more things for today. Okay. My browser has started. Okay. It has, as you can see here, it has identified the left part of the screen. It has clicked on the right part of the screen, right? And then there is a screen here. It has filled up all of the information from this screen, right? That is what, like, we got a screen, and then it was able to handle this part of the screen. Depending on like, this screen is a dynamic screen, right? Sometimes it will be it change. So we had mechanism, we learned how to handle this different screen, right? Is that correct? In this particular part, sometimes it brings this screen, sometimes it brings another screen, right? Sometimes it brings three different screen. So we have learned how to handle this dynamic screen by putting custom logic in our script. Now, so today we are going to, let's say that we are going to identify few objects from this part of the screen. Let's say we are going to identify, you know a few objects from this part of the screen, and then we will highlight them. And to do that, we are going to use ChroPath. We will be taking help from ChroPath, and we will be learning a parent-child relationship as well. Okay, now, so remember that ChroPath, right? That ChroPath plugin is not available under, like, when you open the browser with your code, ProPath is not available there, right? So if you press F12 here, right, F12, that will take you to the developer screen. Normally ChroPath, where do you see ChroPath? Normally you see somewhere here, you click, and here or here you see this ChroPath. But in this particular case, it is not available. So I'm going to close this screen and I'm going to bring a browser, actual browser by myself manually. And then I'll go to Salesforce, right? What we did so far, we have clicked on login, and then we have clicked on, like, remember there was a problem identifying objects from this part of the screen, right? What we have to do for that? Can anyone explain what we have to do for that? We had to go ahead. Like, we were not able to identify any object from this area of the screen, and then we used frame, right? Do not you remember that? To switch frame, and then
Yeah,
we
we
were
have
able
to
to,
switch.
yeah, and then we have clicked on this. Now our goal here is to identify something from this area of the screen, and we'll be using Chro. Now first of all, I'll be going to developer screen by pressing F12. Okay, now I am in developer window. Okay, now, so here let's take a look where I can get Chro. Let me see what I have here. It is here, and it is even not here. HTML body. Let me see if my Chro is enabled. If I go to extension, right, then manage extension. And do I have Chro here? Do you see Chro here? In my extensions, do you see Chro? Any of you? No, Chro is, for some reason, Chro is gone. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring Chro. I'll click here, and then I'll say add to Chrome. Add. Okay, it is checking. Okay, now I'm going to go to this extension, and here I see Chro and it is enabled. Is that correct? Okay. Now I'm going to close it. Close it. Now I'll be coming here. I'll be refreshing this page. Okay, and actually I might have to restart this page. Yeah, let's close and come back. Salesforce. Start my free trial, and here let me just press F12. Okay, now you can see Chro here, right? Can you see this? Okay, so if you take a look, right, this is the Chro this is the Chro uh, Chro elements in the page. Now if you take a look here, let's say this particular object, right, or this particular object. If you uh, if you um, if you try to inspect this particular object, right, so this is pre-loaded data or upload your own, right? This is the object. Now what is the tag name for this object? Can anyone help me? What is the tag name for this object?
Div.
Div. Div, right? Okay, div. And then if I want to write a XBAR for this particular object, right, I'll have to do, I'll have to put a double forward slash, and I'll have to put the tag name, div, right, div, and then I'll have to put this box bracket, and inside the box bracket, right, inside the box bracket, I'll have to use what attribute I want to use and what will be the attribute value. So here, what attribute you are going to use? Can anyone help me for identifying this object? What do you think your your attribute will be? Hmm?
Class.
Class. Okay. Remember that I said previously, if your class if the class name is complex. Complex means if the class name has a space, the class name has a spaces, you do not use the class for identifying the object. Let's say that what you will be able to use contains. Yeah, let's say that you will be using contains. So you will be putting that contains word here. Okay, contains, and then you put a you put a after contains you put a pair of parentheses, and over there now you are going to put at class. Okay, at class. And then if it is contains, then you will have to use comma instead of equal sign. Is that correct? Okay, and then over there you are going to use a single quotation, and you are going to use, can you see, you are going to use all of the thing instead whatever you have. Let me bring a notepad. Okay, so can you see margin and up to, so you stop right where you have the spaces. Okay, and then you put this here inside the single quotation. Okay, and then if you now if you press enter,
You have the quotation outside the margin.
and that's why I'm saying what is that, invalid pattern. Okay, so let me just take care of that. Okay, now if you press enter, how many objects do you have, guys? How many objects do you have? Hmm? Can you help me, like the description that you have provided, with that description, how many objects you have? 5. Okay, 5. So if you write this X path, right, there are 5 objects. Now out of these 5 objects, if you write this description, there will be 5 objects. Will you be able to reach out to your, like, can you see, I'm trying to reach out this object. Now before this object there are 2 other objects available with that description. Is that correct? So I will not be able to identify the particular object that I am looking for. Okay, so here uh, I told you previously that why this description is bringing 5 objects. Can anyone help me? Why this particular description is bringing 5 objects? Hmm?
With your trial, get there's like it's on the second line. It's supposed to be like online.
Actually, all of these 5 objects, right, as you can see, class contains margin 10 bottom LG. All of these 5 objects have the class name that starts with, that have this have this value. All of the 5 objects, if you look at their class, right, they have this word. Remember, I discourage you to identify objects by their class always. because in website there will be more than one object in many cases which will have same class name. So you, if you do not have any other way, right, then only you use class for the object identification. And if you take a look, right, margin 10 bottom lg, margin 10 bottom lg, right, can you see the word margin 10 bottom lg? So if you come here, if you inspect this object, right, inspect, what is the class name? Margin 10 bottom lg, is that correct? Then you come here, this particular one, right, what is the class name? Margin 10 bottom lg, is that correct? Then you come here in this part, we know that this is margin 10 bottom lg. Now you come here, what is that? Margin 10 bottom lg. Now do you see why when we are trying to identify this object by partial class, that is using a regular expression on class name, why you are getting 5 object? Is it clear to you? I want to hear that because it is important that you understand this. Nahid bhai, is it clear to you why we are getting 5 object? Under the all of the five objects have the same class. Same class name. That at least whatever portion we are using for identification up to this, that up to that part is common for all of these 5 objects, right? So this is not a better way. This will be the last resort. If we do not have any other way to identify this object, then only we will be using this particular attribute. Okay, now so let's come back to some other way. Okay, now if you take a look, let's say that if you inspect that object again, the core thing here from your side, what I want your understandability. Whatever I am explaining, are you understanding this? Can you appreciate this, that okay, I'm understanding this? Because if you do not understand, all of the discussion that I'm doing will be in vain. Okay, so now if you take a look, so this class is not a good thing to identify that object, is that correct? Yeah. So the only way we have, it has this text. Can you see? It has this text, preloaded data or loaded, upload your own, right? Can you see what is the text of this div element? Preload data or upload your own. But even with the text, right? Can you see there are, if you double click on the text, can you see there are spaces here? Is that correct? There are spaces and empty lines, right? So if you, let's say if you copy this, and if you open a notepad plus plus, and if you paste it here, can you see it has an empty line here, right? So that means even with the text you have, with this text you have other things, so you will have to use regular expression. So how do you, let's say if you try to identify this object by regular expression and text, right, what will happen again? It will be contents, and when you use text, do you have to use at the rate sign? No. Okay, then you do text, okay, like this. And then text, what you do from there, you only take, do not take the line, you take only the text, and then you go there, you put it here. Okay, now if you press enter, how many objects now we have selected? We have selected only one object. We have selected only one object. Is it clear? Do you understand like how we use Chro path? Okay, that's good. Nahid, do you have any question regarding how you need to identify object by using Chro path?
one. So
Mm-hmm.
selected one, right? So or you just wrote the particular XPath to select one.
I have written XPath just to identify one object from these five objects. Okay. Now if you
Just click on that. Just writing the specific XPath.
specific XPath, yeah, and so here, so what is the use of Chropath? What is the use of Chropath? Chropath helps you. Let's say that if you use the class name, if you use the class name to identify the object, your code will be failing or you will not be able to identify object, and you it will be difficult for you to troubleshoot actually what is happening. So Chropath helped us to to like when we experiment with Chropath, we saw that when we use class name to identify that object, we saw that multiple multiple objects was there, and immediately we have decided no, we cannot go for that, and we came for other thing alternative, and then we have another alternative that is using contains on the text, and we, as you can see, by using Chropath, even I do not have to go to Eclipse and I do not have to execute my test multiple times. Like you know that when you troubleshoot, when you write your code and then execute, right, execute to see if it passes or fails, it takes a lot of time, because every time you start execution, it takes time to start the execution, it takes time to navigate, right? So we have remove all of this time consumption by using Chropath. Do you understand what is the use of Chropath, guys?
Yes, Chrome is to make sure the object I'm selecting is actually the right object.
Right object. And
Instead of running the whole code to make sure, like, yeah,
yeah,
that is very time consuming.
yeah, and if there is a conflict in selecting object, Chropath immediately point it out. Five objects, right? We immediately put out from that decision, isn't it? Okay. Now, so can you take 5 minutes? Can you see whatever I did so far? Can you practice it? Can you take 5 minutes and practice it? Okay, I'll be pausing recording and I will be back. Let's say 11:11 now. I'll be back by 11:16. In the meantime, I want you to practice this Chropath. And when I'm coming back, I want to see that you have practiced all of this. You will be able to show me from your computer, both of you. Okay. So let me just pause my recording. I will let you practice for this 5 minutes and I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'm pausing the
Okay. So I extended Chromepad
Mhm.
and correctly, but still saying that.
Where is your object? Your object, right? Okay. Now let me see div, and then you have contains, and you have text, preloaded data. Can you show me the whole XPath by clicking on it and uh, navigating to the right? Yeah, 1 second, wait there. So you have div contains text, and then preloaded, and then you have the ending of contents. Yeah, press enter now. Hold on, hold on. Div and div contains preloaded data or upload your preloaded data or upload your give me 1 second. Let me take a look at div contains text, preloaded data, upload your Okay, can you do this? Can you? I'm putting this expert that I have written here. I will. Can you move your expert and save it to a notepad? And the one that I'm putting in the chat, take that one and use that. Good thing is it is not saying invalid, right? And make this screen bigger, because yeah, you can put it here and take the one that we have written, that we have in the chat. Yeah, copy that. First, can you put it in the notepad? First, put it in the notepad. Yeah, in the next line. Yeah. Okay. Can you see there is a difference, right? Can you see? That is the problem. Now I see. Can you see that?
Oh.
Mm-hmm. You can just go there and remove that space. That's it. Because it doesn't have a space in the beginning. Yeah, yeah, press enter now. Wow, we have it, right? Does it make sense? And can you see like a small space, how much problem it can create? Okay. Now, did you practice that by using class, what you get? Can you can you do now? Can you practice with class and see what behavior you get?
Sure.
So what is happening here?
Objects.
5 objects that sharing the same class name or similar class name, and that's why you do not use class name for your object identification. Okay, good. So now if you have to use the other XPath that you have written for to identify, to highlight that object, preloaded data, or upload your own, how will you use that? Do you still have that XPath in Notepad? Go there, copy that XPath, and go to, do you have Eclipse opened here? Yeah, bring Eclipse. Nice, bhai, were you able to practice this?
Mine is not, I didn't put the space also, but it's used in inbuilt background.
Okay, we'll take a look. Just let me finish with Nipa's XPath, and then I will let you share your screen. Okay. So Nipa, your method, right? Can you show me where you have that? You have you used TestNG in your? Okay. Where is your TestNG example?
The other computer, but this is the test engine, and this is the method class.
Okay, method plus. Okay, okay, got it. So here, when you click on that start my free trial, and then it bring you in this page, where do you have, like, if you start my free verify, verify start my free trial, and then you have, can you show me where you have all of the navigation? Okay, I think in your test ng it is not complete yet, right? Okay, let's use this try for free. So you are company employees. Okay, what is that example? It seems like, is it Salesforce example?
It's Salesforce try for free.
Okay,
This is a method class.
try for free, right? When you click on try for free, then uh, you get,
Yeah, like the new practice that I did with another computer.
oh, in another computer. Okay, so let's do this. Can you execute this, whatever you have here? Can you execute this? Seems you have some errors here. Okay, let's see. So when you are in this page, right, you can use, like, before you do anything in this page in terms of inputting your okay, values, you can identify that particular element from the left hand side, right? Probably your code is failing here. So let's see, like,
Yeah, it doesn't have the switch screen and like I have all the
oh, in the other computer.
under
Okay.
the same method.
That's fine.
This
That's
is not
fine.
the
Let's,
right one.
yeah, that's fine. Then in this case, oh, you have to switch first, right? You have to
I
switch
have
first.
it running.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. We will be practicing that one in my computer. But you understood, like, how to use Chropath. Is that correct? Okay, very good. Now, Nahid bhai, please share. Let me take a look what issue that you are facing. Um, not yet. Yeah, now I can see. Mhm. So, Dave, remember that, Dave, when you are putting Dave, you have to start with double forward slash. Okay, now press enter. Yeah, got it. Okay, copy the text path and let's go to your copy the text path and let's go to your particular copy and go to your Eclipse, please. Yeah, highlight that object somewhere. Write a method to highlight that object. You can write a separate method, Nahid bhai. Yeah, yeah. In this class, write a separate method. Object method. So now hold on here. Click on my free trial, right? When you click on your free trial, after that you have to, if you go to your caller, go to your caller. Okay, go to your caller now. then which one is active in this case? This one is false. So yeah, this one is the active one, right? So handle. So verify. Okay, so you are clicking on login, verify logo. Hold on, bye. Verify logo and then verify header text to in the second page. Do you have a switch window method? Okay, click on my free trial. You have switch window, and after the switch window, like after line number 50, you will be bringing the new method. Now write a method in your method class. Now write the method over there. First write the method here as separate method, new method. Mhm. Highlight what element? Highlight, let's say you can you can put a meaningful name at least. Highlight uh, yeah, preloaded element, preloaded data element. Yeah, and then yeah, write the method to highlight it. So what do you do? Remove this. You do not.
Yeah, let me copy paste that one.
Mhm. Okay. Mhm.
There is some space in it.
Yeah, remove the space. You do not need a space here. Yep.
Seems like space.
Yeah.
I put a
Yeah, you put a meaningful message that what you are, let's say, verifying this particular element. Quite hard.
I was actually to change the patterns.
Mhm. Okay, and then call this method from your caller method. Yeah, this text. Yeah. Yep. And then let's do an execution. Okay. So what do you think? Mhm. So if you have to go for class and then you do not have any other choice, right? Then what you have to do, and you have to let's say highlight that object, then you have to use loop. You have to, like, since it will be returning more than one object, you will have to create a collection of that object. Okay, you have to create collection of that object, and then after creating collection, you will have to loop through it. Okay. Okay, so let's say that, that in this case, in this case you will, like, if you use class for the identification, then you will have five objects, and out of that five object, what is the sequence number for this particular object? No. When you get five object, in if you count from the top to bottom. Now when you identify them by class, what is the sequence number? Can you tell me? This is the third object. This will be like no credit, right? Let me take control and let me explain this. Okay. Okay. Let me come back. Let me share my screen again. Okay. Let me know when you can see my screen. You can see my screen. Nipa, can you see my screen? Night bye. Can you see now? Okay. Okay. So the question that you have asked me here, let's say that, okay, we do not have this luxury to select, identify this object by this particular text. Then we have to go for that partial, we have to go for that class name, right? So if you have to go for that class name, you'll have to use that partial name, right? So now if you come back here in your Chro path, that means you have to put here at class, and then you have to put that partial text here. Okay. Now, how many objects you have altogether with, if you identify object in that way? You have five elements. Now, in that five elements, what is the sequence number of the object that you are looking for? You are looking for this object. What is the sequence number for this object? Third, right? As you can see from here, um, we will talk about it. So here, if you take a look, in this particular few objects, right? Then if you take a look here, this is the first object. Let's say if you put something like this, um, what is called, put a parenthesis around it, okay? And then if you put this and press enter, now which one you identify?
I can see because the number I put in the page.
One.
So this is the operative part.
This is the first object in the sequence. And then if you put 2, then which one you identify? Second one. If you put 3, then which one you identify? Preload, right? So what you do, if you do not have any other way, copy this whole thing. You go to your XPath and let's say verify pre-talp is loaded, and after that you write a method. We will be writing a method here. This is my method class, and in my method class, let me go to my method class. I'll be writing a new method here to highlight that particular object, right? Do you agree with me? Okay, so let me quickly, actually I'll be using a very shortcut to highlight. I'll just copy a method and put it anywhere, okay? And then I'll say highlight preloaded text, okay? And then here I'll be bringing this particular identification and I'll be putting it here.
Why did you use that number again?
I'll tell you. I'll explain it in details, okay? Now you come here, you put by dot xpath, okay? You put by dot xpath, and inside your xpath you put your xpath, okay? And this is where we are highlighting. Let me remove all of this, okay? let me put a let me put a system out println message. System out dot println, and then here you type now highlighting, now highlighting preloaded. It's okay. Now, so now what I'll do, I'll just call this method from my main method empty obj dot, right? Okay. Now, so let me do an execution and then I'll be explaining what we did. So where's my browser? This is my browser. Okay. Nipa, is your graduation is done? When are you
Hopefully,
expecting?
next year.
Next year. Okay. Next year by what time?
By December.
Next year by December, I see. So is my code still going on? Probably not. Probably I'm failed. Let me see where I am. Oh, it failed, right? How do you troubleshoot when your code fails, right? You take a look in this message, okay? Can you see this test engine, sweet runner? These are not my class. My classes are, can you see my main class, my method class, my highlighter class, right? So you see in this log where you have a meaningful class name. You keep going up, okay? You keep going up. Can you see my main class? And I know that my main class, I'm just calling method, right? So I will be, can you see my method class? My method class, line number 33, let me click on that. So basically, it is failing here. Verify logo. Verify logo is failing here. Now, that verify logo, I'll have to see when it happens, right? Let me see. You understand how I am going to that failing point? Yeah, and you have to click on there, right? Then if you go up, you will see more details. So what kind of message we have got, element info, it will say, okay, this is what it was not able to identify. And there will be more meaningful message if you scroll a little bit up, right? Can you see? No such element, unable to locate element, method expert selector, image src this, right? Image src this. Now verify logo, this call is happened, this call is happened after, can you see, verify logo immediately, click on login link. After you click on login link, you are trying to verify logo. Is that correct? Okay, now we are take a look what happened to that logo. Okay, we'll make sure before we run one more time, we will be looking by going here. This is the logo we are trying to verify. Is that correct? So we will be doing here inspect, and then we will be inspecting again. Now you go to your Chro path. And what is the X path that we are writing, guys? Let me bring that X path from there. So the X path that I'm writing, it is this. Okay, I'm going to take it. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to put it. I'm going to press enter. So I am G, right? Logo 214.sbg. It is there. The element is there, but I'm not able to identify. It could be, do you understand why it could be? It could be like, remember that if you come here in my method class, we have a, can you see, we have a implicit weight. And what is the problem with that implicit weight? Guys, what is the problem with that implicit weight? Mm-hmm. Tell me. We have discussed. Hmm? Implicit weight. Implicit weight throws exception. Are you sure? No. 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 Implicit, we have discussed previously, there is a problem with the implicit weight. What are the two types of weight those we have discussed? Can anyone tell me? Okay, got it. What is implicit weight? What is explicit weight? No problem. So implicit weight is, let me go there. Implicit is this way. What is my method? Logo. Okay. Implicit weight is this. When you say implicitly weight, 5 seconds. This implicit weight and explicit weight is, remember that we have created weight object. Do you remember? Explicit weight, dynamic weight, you put up to 30 seconds. That is the explicit weight. Remember we have created it, that weight object, and then how did you do that? That this implicit weight sometimes doesn't work. So that's why probably let me first verify.
With the implicit weight that I remember now, you like the time that you
Mhm.
the system will be weighing violent, but with the dynamic weight, if it's 1 second, if the system doesn't need 20 seconds, it'll be waiting for, but if it takes lesser time,
Mhm.
it'll work within that time.
Yeah, exactly. So if you use implicit weight, it will be waiting whatever. Let's say if you say 10 second, 15 second, 30 second, it will be waiting all of the time that you have mentioned. If you use explicit weight, it is dynamic weight, it will be waiting. If you put 20 second, it will be waiting up to 20 second. If the object is available after 2 seconds, it will not wait anymore. Does it make sense? Okay, now I am just trying to use a shortcut here. Thread dot sleep, that is a explicit weight again. It has, it throws an exception, but to see if the problem is in that wait, I'm going to execute it one more time with that thread dot sleep, because I know that if you use thread dot sleep, definitely it will be waiting for 5 seconds before it tries to identify that object. So it is now saying that there is a problem in my code. Let me see what is that problem. So in my main class, it is showing a problem. Let me see what is that problem. Oh, verify logo, right? Verify logo. Here I'll have to, I do not have a, I'll have to bring that add throws here as well. Okay. Now, is there any further issue with my code? Not really. Let me save it and I'm good. Let me execute it. Okay. We have clicked on the login, and then we have, can you see now we are okay? It was, the problem was because of that. Can you see we have highlighted the preloaded data? We are good. Okay, now let's go back. So if you take a look here, guys, if you take a look here in your method class, the new method that you have written, now it is hidden somewhere, you have to find it. The easy way to find that new method is, you come here, can you see highlight preloaded text, hold control key, right? Hold control key and click on that, it will take you to that method. Does it make sense? You understand what I'm trying to say? Click on that. Yeah, it will take you to the definition of the method. This is the definition of the method. Now, so Nipa, to answer your question, can you see after the XPath, let me just go there and explain it again. Okay, you will understand if I explain it again, definitely. is a straightforward concept. You click on this object. Okay, now you go to your development mode, developer mode, and you come here and go to your Chro path, right? Now you come here, and if you do not use this, right, if you do not use this, you do not have to use that parenthesis around it. Press enter. How many objects do you have? 5. Now out of that 5 object, my goal is to reach the third object. Is that correct? So the the goal is to reach the third object. If you have a situation like this, you have no other way to identify the object, and the description that you are writing, by that description, if you get more than one object, then you have to go for indexing. How do the indexing works, right? You come here, and the actual description, you put a around it, you put a parenthesis, and then after it put 1, the center. So can you see, now it is identifying the first object. If you put 2 here, it will be identifying the second object. If you put 3, it will be identifying the fourth object. If you put 4, identifying the fourth object. If you put 5, it will be identifying the fifth object. If you put 6, can you see 0 element missing? That means we do not have any more element. That's why I put that 3. Does it make sense now?
If it doesn't take the text, that's what
Yeah.
you can use.
If you do not have text, like you only have a way class, and that class, like when you try to identify the object by class, it brings more than one object, and then you have to reach out to the element that you are trying to reach, then you have to use index. Okay. Sounds good, everyone? Okay, cool thing, right? It's very cool. Now there is another thing. It is a little bit complicated. There is another way you can identify this object. You want to learn that as well? You want to take a little bit complicated stuff today, guys?
Learn, because we don't know where we're gonna stuck.
Okay.
I want to learn everything about it.
It's used, but what normal thing we just in the practical field, you know where you can start.
Yeah.
I think this way expert finding out is very commonly starting. I think because nowadays the developers starting so many ways that works.
Yep.
So
Now we are
better
going to, in this case, we are going to learn another way how you can identify. Now you know the sequence of that object is that you are trying to reach is sequence is 3, right? Now we are going to learn another way to identify that object. So now let's go to your method. So this is the method highlight preloaded text, right? So instead of this, I'm going to do something. So I am going to do something like this. List, and then here web element. Oh. My list to my web driver dot find elements. Instead of element, I'll say find elements. Can you see? Find elements, and then by dot xpath. Okay, I'll be putting the xpath here. What is the xpath? my expertise. Yes. Here now, can you see? It will ask you to bring something. You will be bringing util. Util. Can you see Java util? Bring this. Okay. Now I'll explain more. Let me first do this. Now from this my list, can you see this my list? I'll be running a for each loop here. For and then for web element w actually yeah w le and this, and then I'll be putting this highlighter method here, and then I'll have a int I equal to if I equal to 3, and then here instead of this put it w. Let me first run it. If it works, I'll explain more. Okay. As I said previously, it will be a little bit complicated than the other way. So it seems like it didn't highlight that part, right? Can you see? It didn't highlight that part, but we didn't receive error from our code. Let me tell you why it didn't highlight. I'll tell you. So if you come here, I equal to 1, right? Every time you are done, you have to do a I plus plus. Then it will happen. Let me execute it one more time. Did it highlight it at the moment? Was it highlighted, the object?
Yes.
Okay, now come to the details discussion. So you saw that previously we were able to do the highlight by one single line, right? One single line. But at this point, I am able to highlight this object, but it took a good amount of code, at least up to I have to write up to this. As I said, here, here, as you can see, this is another way. A lot of time you have to do in that way. What we did, when you say the my WebDriver dot find elements, right? When you say my find elements,
By the index, and you're using a for loop.
yeah. So what is happening here when you do by find elements, then and can you see the description of the object that you have written, if you take this description out and if you put it in your Chro path, right? How many objects do you have? 5. So let's go back. Let's go back. So the description that you have written, it will return how many elements? 5. So that's why we have created, instead of a web element, we have created a list of web elements. When I say list, definitely from the name, it comes in your mind that there will be more than one object or more than one thing in the list, right? Isn't it? So I have created a list of web elements. Now in this list, how many web elements it will return? 5. My list will have 5 elements. Is that correct, Nahid bhai? Okay, and then I have written a for each loop. What I did, okay, this is the big fish. In the belly of that fish, I have 5 small fish. Is that correct? I'm taking one small fish from that big fish, from the belly of that big fish, and saving that small fish to this web element variable. Okay, so I have 5 small fishes inside the belly of this big fish. I'm taking out one small fish, putting it in this container. And then I'm saying, can you see I said I equal to 1 in the beginning. And then I'm saying if I equal to 3, then come here, highlight that object. If I equal to not 3, then you come here, increase I. And then when increase I, it will be going back to the for loop. It will be taking the next fish from the belly of this one, and next fish will be coming here. Now I equal to 2, so it will not highlight this. Again it will increase I, now I equal to 3, and then it will take the third fish from the belly and put it in this container, and now it will check if I equal to 3. Yeah, I equal to 3, so it will highlight, and it will highlight, and then it will do I plus plus again, and then it will take the fourth fish into this container and it will come here. Now I equal to 4, so it will not do anything, and then it will increase I equal to one more time 5, so it will take the fifth fish to the container, and then I equal to 5, so it will not highlight, so it will be coming out. So let's say if I equal to 3 or I equal to 5. Now you see what happens. I'm saying if I equal to 3 or I equal to 5, then highlight, right? So let me execute this. Now can you see what's happening?
Oh,
It highlighted.
It highlighted the third element and the fifth element, right? Let's say if you go back there, right? If you go back there, if you put I equal to 3 or I equal to 5 or I equal to 1. Now if you execute, now the first element, third element and the fifth element is highlighted, right? And you see this is another way you can handle this object. Do you have any question what we did up to this?
in the line number 50, I put the power web element web injected object for the web.
Yeah, yeah. We have declared a small container so that we can take small fishes from the big belly of the big fish, right? If we want to save the small fish to another container, we'll have to declare it. So that's why you put web element, web element.
Is colon or simple?
Colon, colon, colon,
Colon.
colon. Yeah.
So
This
this
is,
is little sentence. Colon, right?
yeah, yeah. This is what we call for each loop, and uh, it is an alternative version of for loop. Nipa, do you have any question? Or Nahidba, do you have any further question?
No, I haven't.
You have to
I
pray.
will fix it in my same thing.
What is that?
Place is the same.
Definitely, you will have to practice. Yeah, definitely. Okay, now remember that we have used assert equals. Can anyone tell me what is the use of assert equals?
Use
Okay, so this is a problem basically. The problem is like I am bringing new topics, but when I'm asking in the next class, hey, can you explain about this? You are not able to explain. You are not able to explain, and what is the point of taking this class now? You tell me. The only thing it appears that you are not able to practice or you do not practice. So this is kind of like that is where my main concern. If this is the thing, then like every class it takes for me as well. It takes a lot of sacrifice to take this class. It takes a lot of sacrifice so that I can come here and explain the things. But if it doesn't make any good to you, then I do not find any motivation in taking this class. This is the only problem that I'm having. I'm bringing things, but it seems like if I ask you something in the next day, you are not able to, or because you do not practice, right? It is not adding any value to your skill. So again, as I said, like for me to come to this class and take it like I work throughout the whole day, whole week, okay, and I do pretty much very hard work than other employees. I not only do my work, I do other people's work. I have help other people, right? And this weekend, if I can enjoy it without any kind of class, it is better for me. But I wanted to come here so that I can help you. But if you do not want to take this help, basically, it is meaningless for me. So what I want like, see, we all are here to get something. We have a goal. And if someone is moving around without any goal, that is where you will not get success. So I want you to be succeed, but you know this stuff, at least whatever we are discussing, you're supposed to be doing your analysis, you're supposed to be learning more than what we are discussing here. At a minimum level, if you cannot explain things that we are bringing in day to day, if you do not have that much time to review what we have discussed, then what is the point? I do not find any point of coming to this class. Okay, so so I'm kind of, i will I will beg you that if you come to this class, you practice so that it is worthwhile for me, worthwhile for you. And not only this, I'm seeing that this stuff, like the way, like I come to class at 10, right? You need the class. I do not need any class or anything. I come to the class at 10 and you guys come at 10:25. I know that this is a, like, everyone have their individual situation, but if you make this as a pattern, right? Then it is a problem, right? So, you know, everyone is mature here, right? So use, like, do whatever you're supposed to do. And as I said, is this is not easy to get a job, to build a career in this field. You are sacrificing your time. It is important that you sacrifice it properly. It is like you cannot play with your. It seems like some of you are playing with your, just with your own career. So you cannot do that with your career, with your life, right? So that's why, whatever we, like, whatever we have discussed, I might be asking you anytime, explain that anytime. It's not like, okay, you did it before 5 months. No, 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 no. You have to be in a position where you are able to explain it, right? So that is where, guys, whatever I sent you, you come to the class, you come prepared, right? Then it will give me more motivation when I see that you are eager to learn, you are practicing, you are struggling to learn. Then it gives me more motivation. I can take class for 5 hours, I do not have an issue. But if it is the situation, then it is kind of demotivating for me. Okay, I hope you take it easy. When you are coming to the next class, you you remain prepared for my questions. Do you want to say anything, or we can conclude here today? Okay, I'll stop this recording.